Chicago lives up to its nickname, the Windy City. Winds of up to 90 miles an hour bring the less hardy to a standstill or use them like a Scotsman's curling stones.
Alley fight between Fitz and Combs. You both get to pick 3 all-time Sox and Cubs as part of your alley fight. My number 1 draft pick is Michael Barrett.
Michael Barrett, you're out of your mind.
I'm taking Michael Barrett. Do you see that right hook? Ask AJ Pierzynski if he wants to get hit with that right hook again.
You can ask AJ Pierzynski that.
I will.
That's such a podcast question.
Shut up. Go to Rizzo. It's in time. And the Chicago Cubs win the World Series. Uribe has it. He throws. Out! A White Sox winner and a World Championship.
And what is going on, Windy City Sports Talk fans? It's your boy, Brandon Combs, along with my guy, Ryan Fitzgibbons. What's going on, Ryan?
Good to have you back, sir.
It
is good to have you back. Unfortunately, we have the White Sox game in the background. This should be pretty interesting. Everybody can watch me pull my hair out.
We can watch you pull your hair
but
out.
I don't care anymore.
We'll know what the score is by how inebriated you get during the podcast.
Yes. I'm hoping not to be able to read Fitz gibberish by the end.
But you do that every week.
We'll see. We shall see what happens throughout the show, but very interesting show ahead of us, huh?
Yeah, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of cool things to get into. While you guys are out there watching, if you could click that like button, click share, click subscribe, do all that good stuff for us. All that stuff that costs you nothing to do but helps us out tremendously. Please go ahead and do so, and do that now if you could.
Well, it costs me heartache if they don't, so
it does.
I think that's probably why they're not subscribing.
You see this? You see this bottle that this little statue is holding. Every time you don't click like or share, Fitz drinks another one of those. So
probably gonna drink it anyway. But anyway.
right. But we want to keep him around for a little bit longer. Yes. We don't have all those kidney problems later on in life. So let's click that like and subscribe button. Let's keep Fitz standing upright. But we do have a lot of stuff to get into. We're going to get into the Bears. We're going to get into Jalen Johnson's situation. Are the Bears staying in Chicago? Are they moving? What's going on over there with Arlington Heights?
Oh, Arlington Heights.
Well, there's a problem with Arlington Heights.
I know.
And then we're going to talk some White Sox. We got some cool stuff to get in with the White Sox. And we also got a news segment to go along with Fitz gibberish. We're going to do some news from around the world talk.
Yes. From around Florida.
Stuff. I know
the world.
You've got some Taylor Swift stuff that
I got Taylor
Swift
stuff.
Would not let me listen to because you said I have to react to it live.
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess you'll be listening to it because I'll be talking about it, but I don't have any real tape or anything like that.
So,
but it will dazzle the mind.
For any of those that
it will light up your imagination.
It's not sitting in traffic right now, or maybe you are sitting in traffic right now and you're listening to us live because you're
insane.
About to kill yourself because you're going into Soldier Field where they've got like 4 entrances and all of them are blocked with traffic right now. And at the end of your traffic misery is Taylor Swift. So if you're listening to us right now while you're on your way into Soldier Field listening to Taylor Swift, please
turn us up.
Try to enjoy yourself tonight.
Drink if you're a lot. Dad going into Taylor Swift, you can put in your earbuds and listen to us for about like an hour and a half. If I was a dad
going to this concert, you know how I would have done it? It's completely we're going off the rails here already. But if I'm a dad going to this concert, I'm calling my buddy Ryan Fitzgibbons. I said, hey, look, we're going to go tailgating at Soldier Field tonight. What do you mean tailgating at Soldier Field?
Way.
I would have talked, because what we'd have done, I would have bought my daughter and her friends tickets to go inside Taylor Swift.
Okay, there you go.
We would have stayed out at the car, played some real music, and drank all night until they came out of the... then they had to drive us home.
What's real music? I'm just starting to realize I don't know any Taylor Swift.
I listen to just about everything. I don't listen to Taylor Swift, but I like country. I like rap. I like hip hop.
Blank Space. Rock. You belong to me. Shake It Off.
Shake It Off.
I guess I heard parts of it. I don't really know, man. I think you could play it, and I'd be like,
"That's on your playlist." Don't lie.
Who has a playlist? Well, I do have a playlist.
I
but
have a Spotify playlist.
Yeah, so do I. Yeah. But lots of people don't have playlists anymore. I don't think.
Shake It Off. You got when nobody is around. You and Aiden are out at the pool playing Shake It Off.
I mean, I don't even want to play it. But,
but anyway. So we got some stuff to get into, but first thing I want to get into is the Alonzo Ball thing. And Alonzo Ball is diagnosed now with a chronic knee issue, and he has already been ruled out of the 2023-2024 season.
That 1 year, bro, I fucking broke my back pretty much.
That's Joe Kelly. That is not Alonzo Ball. I still don't understand how you pretty much break your back, but yeah, out
for 23-24, and there are real concerns that at the age of 24, Alonzo Ball will never play in the NBA again. This is Derrick Rose all over again.
I mean, one of the top point guards, not exactly. Derrick Rose was a dominant point guard, which just doesn't happen. Like, he could not be stopped. I guess LeBron James in his prime sort of stopped him in that series, but I think a better coach probably, and I don't know if there's a better coach than Tom Thibodeau, but a better coach or a better team, maybe that doesn't matter at that point. Yeah, I mean, how big was Lonzo Ball? They were one of the best teams in the league. And look at this year, you don't even have to be the best team.
Right. And that's
and they went from that. They went from a dynamic team to a good 3-point team, good to very good. They were never a fantastic 3-point team, but Lonzo Ball was almost leading the league. You take him out of that, and they just couldn't. They were went from a very good to a fair to bad 3-point hitting team. You cannot play in the NBA to be like that. I mean, it's just Brandon Combs Jr.
LeBron's dog shit.
He is. I mean, well, this is what I think about the whole LeBron thing.
Flop.
He obviously, Jim Gray, who I know from being such a rabid boxing fan most of my life, was always asked like bad questions, whatever. He knows how to manipulate the media and get a lot of people talking about him and talking about whatever, talking about whatever topic he wants to talk about. He was kind of like the Skip Bayless of 25, 30 years ago. Yeah, annoying. And he's good friends with Tom Brady, good friends with LeBron James. He was the guy that was interviewing him. Jim Gray interviewed him when he made the announcement when he went to Miami, which he was wearing like a shirt that you usually see on the tablecloth of like a barbecue hut somewhere in Alabama. But anyway, Skip Bayless, Jim Gray, good friends with LeBron, knows how to manipulate the media. What does LeBron do after he basically does not have a good playoffs? I mean, the guy can still play a half. I think he was one of the best players ever. We can argue whether he's the best ever. I think those arguments are dumb, but was a sack of shit kind of in the playoffs, I guess, to be on Junior's side.
All time.
Oh, for sure. He's probably top 5.
No.
I don't get into all that. That's like saying, what's your favorite movie? I don't know. I have a lot of movies I love.
We get into it. I mean,
the different generations, you can't say anything. You can.
What is he?
There's obviously more talent than there was when Jordan was playing. It's obvious. He's not playing against a Nick Price. Nick Price is not starting for the Cavaliers if he's in
Michael
the
Jordan wasn't playing.
I'm just saying.
He did play against Nick Price, but he also played against Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, freaking the Boston Celtics teams.
Larry Bird, after he stoned his mom's driveway and tore into his back, and he could barely walk.
But I'm talking about in the 80s.
84 when he first came in. Yes. Yeah, he dominated.
He's played against those Lakers.
He dominated the Celtics. Yeah, but come on.
He played against talent.
It's not the same talent that's in the NBA now. Right. It isn't.
I'll tell you. You know why it's not the same? You know why it's seen as not the same talent? And I'll tell you. I'll be the first one to tell people. I tell people all the time about LeBron James.
Have another drink from the thermos, Daddy.
LeBron, Daddy. What the hell just happened? LeBron James,
Daddy.
LeBron James.
Daddy, don't.
LeBron James, had he come up in the 90s and 80s, people say that he wouldn't have been able to play. I disagree. Because he would have been taught to play the way the players of that era played. And, and with his size and his ability.
Oh, no way. He would have played in any era.
He would have been a really good ball player. The thing is about the difference between the talent and players now and the talent and players then is you don't think Larry Bird could shoot?
He would have been able to shoot threes. Larry Bird, I'm not saying
they don't play defense anymore.
I'm not saying and you could say that too. I'm just saying raw talent. There's more raw talent now. There wasn't a European infusion.
Tony Kukoc when Jordan played.
We're going to compare Tony Kukoc to the guys that are out now.
Yeah. Tony Kukoc was a beast.
Tony Kukoc was a good player. He was a nice player.
Tony Kukoc was Dirk Nowitzki before Dirk Nowitzki.
Oh, my God. Don't you dare do that. Look at their fucking stats, you psychopath.
Tony Kukoc made Scottie Pippen sit on the bench for a last-second shot. He ruined Scottie Pippen's reputation for the rest of his life. Because he got the final shot.
Crazy.
You've lost your damn mind, sir. If you're Tony Kukoc to the best European player to ever play the game. Yeah. No, there's just more talent now all over the league. Yeah, you didn't let me finish. But the rules have totally changed, like they have in every league to help the offense. There's no hand checking anymore, that being the biggest one. Basically, like Jordan was playing football, the real football I'm talking about.
Yeah, he was getting
I'm not talking about the NFL that is basketball with traveling. Yes. I'm talking about actual football, the football we grew up on. But that's what Jordan was playing.
Would LeBron have been a broken man if he had to play against the bad boy Pistons in the late 80s?
Yeah. See, now that's a good question. Now you're on to something.
That's my thing when I say he would have been trained differently. He was trained to flop. He was trained that, hey, I can draw these fouls because they allowed him to do that. Back in the 80s, he wouldn't have been able to do that. With his size, this guy could be a tight end in the NFL.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And
you know what I mean?
Best tight end ever, probably. Or one of them.
But, we would talk about it for sure. I don't think that LeBron is there. I don't know how we got on LeBron when we were talking about the Bulls and talking about Alonzo Ball.
You're Junior.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Junior.
Jeremiah Murray comes in. He wouldn't have lasted 20 years.
That's the question, though.
Yeah.
When it comes to LeBron, is would he have been able to survive?
Would he have been able to play 2 years in the minors? Baseball.
And then come back and win 3 more titles
in a row. Fucking minutes.
So, Alonzo Ball's career might be done.
Yeah, that's just
where do they have to do? Are we about to see another rebuild in Chicago? Like, what do they do? You've already seen that Zach LaVine is not a guy that you can really build around. He's not a guy that can carry a team. Where do the Bulls need a point guard?
It's another rebuild. Money. It's another rebuild. And Clevenger just struck out Javi Baez. And I don't know if there's a worse view or a worse at bat in Chicago sports right now. But anyway. Anyway, yeah, I mean, it's just really sad. I mean, because I heard Lonzo Ball could have beaten MJ one-on-one.
You're stop.
His dad told me. His daddy told me.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, yeah. I mean, it's kind of sad because this team had a decent core going to where you thought with Lonzo Ball, with LaVine, with the guys that they had around them, with maybe Patrick Williams getting himself together, you thought he could actually be a really good player at 19, 20, playing the way he played. And then you basically were watching his ceiling. Unfortunately, I don't know, could become better. Lauri Markkanen got a little better after he left the Bulls. But you thought this was going to be a team that we were actually going to get excited about. And it just didn't happen from 3/4 into the season, maybe 2/3 into the season last season to now.
Yeah.
They have just been terrible. And haven't been able to beat the better teams in the NBA. And without Lonzo Ball, it's just a totally different dynamic, which I did not see coming. Although I think a lot of people who listen to the show know that. I could not see that coming.
Well, I don't know if it's a rebuild. I don't know if it's a retool. I don't know where they go, but
they're too old for it to be a retool.
This is the same front office that last year went into the season knowing Lonzo Ball would probably be done for the season at least, and did not go out and get a point guard. Do you trust this front office to
there
go
was
and
times
get?
like throughout the season weren't they like, okay, they can come, this could happen, he could come back, oh yeah, he might be back the last third of the season, yeah, he'll have a couple of games and then he'll be at game
they
ready.
Knew before the season, there was all these rumors that they knew before the season that he wasn't going to play, and they did nothing. They did not. The front office again, it's a Jerry Reinsdorf guy. But look, the one thing I will say about Jerry Reinsdorf is he's going to take care of Alonzo Ball.
Oh yeah, he will.
That's the one
thing
about
Jerry
family
and all that. Yes. I will give him that.
Who was it? The kid who the motorcycle accident that they drafted out of Duke?
Jay Williams.
Jay Williams. He paid Jay Williams.
Would have been a terrific player too. I mean that point guard position.
I was just going to say that. Why can't we get a point guard that can stay
that
healthy?
Point guard position is like every position for the Chicago White Sox. And we didn't talk about it last week, but I wanted to. But the Sox backup third baseman, while Moncada was out, got hurt and missed 2 games, giving the safe sign
while passing first base. he was passing first base.
The White Sox are the point guard position for the Chicago Bulls. Even with Lonzo, they don't have enough shooters.
I agree. They need they need another shooter. They need a point guard. They need a 3 that can really shoot the ball.
You got Vucevic. You got who's
Vucevic is your 4 or 5.
Yeah, I know, but still, he can shoot a 3. I mean, he's 30-something% from the 3 career. Right. And then you had Zach LaVine who could shoot a 3. And then you had Lonzo Ball. He used to be able to.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened this season. He played one game. He played one complete game this season, and it was in sort of a playoff atmosphere.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with the Bulls if they have to go through another.
Are the Bulls in the finals? Are the Bulls in the finals if they win against the Miami?
No, no, they're not.
Zach LaVine does not equal Jimmy Buckets.
Dude, and again, we talked about this last week, but you have a guy like Jimmy Butler on the Bulls where you basically gave up for 2 players that are no longer here.
Yeah, I know.
And he goes to Miami and
yeah.
I mean, look, they got dominated last night. I don't think they're going to win the title, but they're there. They're there, and he was the MVP of the conference finals.
Yeah, that's tough. He's a man. He kind of can be kind of a bitch. Doubting Thomas says maybe Lonzo Ball is just soft. Shots fired.
Quick question: why did you say he can be kind of a bitch and then say Doubting Thomas? Where are you going there?
Let's not get into this. Let's not go down this. All right, let's go down it.
I'm just saying, you said it. I just picked up on it. That's all.
He can be. I mean, he's gone to teams and been like, I want to get out of here. I want to get both. Jimmy Butler, for Christ's sake. You son of a bitch. That's it. I'm going to get shot.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
You're a bad person.
I'm playing. Go ahead.
Junior says doubles. Yeah, I mean, look, I don't mind at all. He was on Entourage and then became a prima donna, like whatever. I mean, the whole Jimmy Butler thing, I don't think anybody wanted to be involved with that anymore. I don't think. And yeah, he took a 43-39 team and brought him to the finals. He did do that. You have to give the guy some credit for that, but he is kind of a bitch. I mean, I think everybody thinks that about him. There's people at my work that are like rooting for him. It's like, what the fuck is going on here?
Let me ask you a question though. Would you rather have guys out there who are constantly getting hurt? Like, I mean, you watch the White Sox all the time. Or would you rather have a guy who's kind of a bitch who stays healthy and can lead a 42-43 team to the NBA Finals?
True, with like no cartilage left in his knee too. Yeah, I'd rather have that, tell you the truth. I mean, but the White Sox, don't get on the White Sox players. They play a good 60 to 70 games a year.
There's 162 in baseball.
Damn it. If we could just play, like I've said before, if we could just have a different pandemic every year, this team would just be electric.
Probably not.
Robert just missed the ball by about 2.5 feet.
They'd get hurt 3 games in.
They were hurt before the season started.
Yeah.
A guy's appendix burst.
Yeah. Another guy went like this
going here
and tore
his labrum. Why do we have to keep doing this? Why do you have to keep torturing me? Can't we just talk about other stuff? Let's talk about a different baseball team every year. I'm a Rays fan. It's over.
It's over. Jeremiah Murray says Jimmy can't work with any other superstars. The problem is he uses every ounce of energy by the time he drags the team there and can't finish.
I agree with that. If you watch a Miami game, I agree with that. And he's really not a 3-point shooter either. Jeremiah Murray's not a 3-point shooter. I mean, he can hit an occasional 3, but he's not a shooter. He wasn't a shooter coming out of college. I will say this. When he came out of college and they got him, I was like, who the fuck is this guy?
They took him 30th in the NBA.
I know. I was like, this guy's going to be a fucking star. I remember when he played at Marquette.
Yeah.
He almost looked like Dwayne Wade. It was like, this guy's going to be a star. I don't care. He couldn't shoot. He could dribble and move around. His defense was astounding. But just the way he moved.
And that's when they had
it was like, this guy's got like freaking
his face was their head
top
coach
tier
then?
talent.
Who was their coach then? It was
the guy that looked like the Terminator from Terminator 2.
Yes.
He did. He did.
I can't.
Is this your son?
I can't
Is
remember
this
what
your
his name
son? He did.
Oh God. Thibodeau. That's his name. Tom Thibodeau.
Oh, his first coach. I thought you meant the coach at Marquette.
No.
Tom Thibodeau looks like that guy that rides the fucking L for fun.
Tom Thibodeau looks like the uncle you don't leave your kids with on a night out. That's what Tom Thibodeau looks like.
You can, yes. This is a guy that sleeps at the gym. You had Tom Thibodeau. I forgot who you had sandwiched in there. You had Scott Skiles for a while, who's basically Tom Thibodeau light.
Yeah.
And then you had someone sandwiched in the middle of there. It was probably like some ex-Bull. Was that the Cartwright era? I don't know. Scott Skiles was the Ben Gordon era.
The ex-Bull that they should have hired went to Golden State and won 5 championships.
Yes, I know that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Fred Hoiberg. There you go. Fred Hoiberg. Yeah. Thank you, Jeremiah Murray.
Yikes.
Well, let's move on to a franchise that is at the tail end of their rebuild.
Here we go.
Their 40-something year rebuild. The Chicago Bears.
Here we go. It's not 40 years yet. I mean, we're on 39.
It's almost.
We're on 39.
They got Jalen Johnson with a contract issue, but Jalen Johnson says the same thing that Justin Fields says. And he says, I care more about wins than I do my contract because the wins will bring the money. Is it?
Get your mouth shut. Get your mouth shut, jerk.
Should this be the Bears slogan for this year?
I guess it could be. I mean, but the guy missed OTAs.
Yeah.
So can you miss OTAs and say that?
Well, so the thing is that he missed OTAs, and there's a lot of veterans that don't go and play OTAs. However, when you are a defensive back on a rebuilding team, and there are probably I would say 11 new starters, you might want to get in there and at least get to know your teammates. Especially if you want to be a part of something. Now, on the other end of that, he might know what we already know. If they do win, he will get paid. Just won't be as a Chicago Bear. Because the Chicago Bears don't pay anybody.
Because they just drafted a guy in the second round that's supposed to be a stud and supposed to tackle a little bit better than you, Jalen. Although I'm a Jalen Johnson fan. He was in one of my Fitzgibberishes. So for him to leave the team, if you're in my Fitzgibberish and I haven't told you to jump off a building,
Crazy.
I like you probably, but no, he had a great game against AJ. One of the best cornerback games I've ever seen against AJ Brown. AJ Brown had 110 yards and a touchdown, but they only targeted him like 25 times. I would still want the guy here, but I'm not sure. And for this many years to not be sure that he's not a number one cornerback is probably a problem. I think he's a shade better than Fuller was.
I liked Fuller a lot.
Oh, here we go.
I did.
What did he do
like
after
Kyle
he left?
Fuller. What do you mean? He's still he went over to.
Shut up.
All right.
I don't even have to really talk anymore.
There was some actual real breaking news today, though, with the Bears.
Breaking news. Do we have a breaking news sound, or we don't?
We probably don't. You suck. I thought maybe you had like a fart in there for like breaking wind instead of breaking news. Like
hey, fucking minutes.
But anyway. Oh, there we go. Breaking wind news. Fucking guy. So anyway.
Crazy.
This is going off the rails quick. The Bears may lose the deal with Arlington Heights. There's some sort of tax thing. The
taxes have gone up 3 or 4 times, which that's what happens in Chicago. If you even outside Chicago, you want to go to the north suburbs, your taxes are going to go up. I know people who are paying like $3,000 or $4,000 a month in taxes in Naperville. Now they had the money to pay it. You took Jeremiah's comment out, but Fuller was the product of phenomenal pass rush. I know we've moved on, but I want to go back to your poll. I want to go back to your Fuller comment.
I probably would have read it had I not had soundbite after soundbite ringing in my ear.
Fuller liked contact a little bit more than Jalen Johnson. He was just not as good, I don't think, with deep balls and with intermediate pass, but whatever. Yeah, I mean, and now they're going to look at, well, they always had contingency plans. Their main plan was never going to be Arlington Heights. Now, the Arlington Heights mayor, or, well, I'm not even going to say the governor, but if they have, a mind at all, they're probably going to talk to the Cook County Assessor's Office. This happens anyway. This happens to people with that have homes all the time. Your taxes go up, something happened, whatever. They built a train near you or whatever, and then your taxes go up, and then you go talk to the assessor's office, and they say, "Oh yeah, we were wrong about this or that or the other." We're gonna have to agree. This is still kind of Chicago, the outside of Chicago. They're gonna have to grease some wheels.
If they don't go to Arlington Heights, because they did say that Arlington Heights is no longer their singular option. Where else do they go? Do they take the trek to upstate, Round Lake? Do they go up to...
There's a lot of room in the South Loop. You just don't want them to go anywhere.
They're just going to build it on the L. Just take out the track and build a stadium. Take out half of the Dan Ryan.
Fine. Las Vegas can get another team. No, it's Arlington Heights or Naperville, I would say.
Okay.
Naperville is Jesus, the second richest to Chicago in the state.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they go to Naperville. I would think that's their only option. But the whole thing with Arlington Heights is it's right there out of O'Hare. Like, people do not get that, I land in Chicago and then I have to drive an hour to Soldier Field. They've never gotten that O'Hare is that far from the city.
Here is the only way the Bears stay in Chicago. They're going to have to completely reconfigure Lakeshore Drive and build some overpasses and build an easier route into that stadium.
Yeah.
You're going to have to. And I don't care if you keep it an outdoor stadium. I don't care if you put a roof on it. I don't care what you do. You have to make it so that there's easier access in and out of this damn stadium. I mean, that's why half of the city doesn't go to these games. That's why I haven't been to a game in years.
And now be honest here. Is it because you want to hear I Knew You Were Trouble by Taylor Swift?
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, right.
I swear to God. I might know it if I hear it. I don't know what it is just by
You got Swift on replay. You're a Swiftie.
Shake It Off. I know
I'm
just by hearing the name of the song.
You want to go
where everybody knows your name.
You want to go a better route because
I don't know.
Vinny Del Negro. He was the guy between Scott Skiles and Thibodeau.
The whole time I thought it was Negro on the screen. I was afraid to bring it up. I was like, I'm not touching that comment.
Well, Jeremiah is from central Indiana.
Ooh.
I'm not saying anything bad about you, Jeremiah. I like you, buddy.
He just says you wear pointy hats.
Unbelievable. Oh, God.
Are you ready for Fitz gibberish?
Already?
Yeah. We got a lot of White Sox talk to talk about.
We do have a lot of White Sox talk. Give me 1 second here.
What'd you do?
Talk to Jeremiah Murray.
Gibberish, or do you got to pee? Oh my God, the guy's got to pee. I don't know what the hell's going on right now. We're like mid.
I had to plug in my laptop.
Or
for
like
Christ's sake.
Mid.
I am not from here.
His laptop died.
He's not from here. He is from the South Side. I will admit that.
How dare you? He said. How dare you, sir?
All right. Who is ready for another episode of Fitz Gibberish?
Why is your camera off?
A diatribe of conspiracy?
Freaking rookie.
How is it off? It's not off.
Okay. And we lost access to it on StreamYard. One of the two. Anyway, we don't need to see you. We just need to hear you. Let's go with Fitz gibberish. I'll go back to the
We're in. We're back. All right. It's a diatribe, a conspiracy, and an island in the middle of pretty much inaccurate sports talk. Let's not keep starting that. Let's stop that.
You are totally screwed.
Well. We are here, Combs. A little over a third through the baseball season.
You need to put the kettle one down, sir.
Put the kettle one up. A little over a third through the baseball season. Chicago teams are collectively 47-66. 47-66. I've had pubic hair that is more straightened out than these organizations. The White Sox lost a series to the Detroit Tigers, who look like they could be decent this year, but let's face it, they're miles away from relevancy. The Cubs got swept by the Reds. The Big Red Machine, my ass. The Reds couldn't muster the concentrated oomph to power a gymnastics vibrator. 47-66 in the third largest city in the country. Well, as they say, there's always
next year.
Yes, I knew I was going to get it from a Cubs fan. We'll
at least be good next year.
Here we go. All of this is self-induced torture because we could just stop watching. There is a man, and a fictitious one at that, who once said, taking on a challenge is a lot like riding a horse, isn't it? If you're comfortable while you're doing it, you're probably doing it wrong. We might be doing it wrong. Yes, and if you haven't guessed already, that quote is from the best non-fact-based show that you're not watching, Combs, ever made, sports show ever made, Ted Lasso.
I still gotta see that.
Yeah, it's a fish out of water story about a college football coach who is picked to take over to be gaffer of a soccer team. Gaffer is boss in England. I didn't know that until now. Even though he knows absolutely nothing about soccer. He knows nothing about soccer. He goes over there. That's why it's fish out of water. The show, until they throw a pile of money at Jason Sudeikis, just ended its third and final season this week in proud fashion. It did lead into the drama too much. This country, myself included, does get a little too wistful sometimes. And the writers and producers gave us what we wanted, closure. Closure is something a sports fan never gets. We get parades. We get hot dogs. We get rolled eyes from our significant others. We get beer bellies. I thought you were going to take off your shirt during this part, but it's not. Man. We get memorabilia. We get zeroed out checking accounts. And some get hemorrhoids. But we do not get closure. We do get
divorce wrong.
We get zeroed out checking accounts / divorces.
I was talking about the hemorrhoids.
We do get one more thing. We get moments, special moments that transcend mere baseball. We no doubt had one of those Monday as Liam Hendriks ran out onto Sox Field while his team was trailing by 1 run in the 9th inning, which in no other game would matter a whole lot. Only Liam has had cancer for the last year. In this game, there was a standing ovation that lasted minutes. You could probably go tell Rob Manfred if you like, but the pitch clock was not observed on this past Memorial Day.
That's bullshit.
You should send a letter to him.
Cody Bellinger got a pitch clock violation in LA.
Here we go. Has he had cancer? Okay.
He's a Cub. It's the same thing.
It was the best moment. It was the best moment I've seen in local sports since Tim Anderson went opposite field in the 2021 Field of Dreams game against Zach Britton. Won the game in the 9th inning. Yes, we don't get a lot of cheer here in the Chicago sports, especially lately. Our biggest win in the last year wasn't even by one of our teams. That goes to Lovie Smith. Led Texans over the Colts, which gift wrapped the Bears' #1 draft pick. But I digress. The Liam Hendriks moments was electric. It hit me on so many levels. I cried by myself more than 30 feet away from where we are sitting right now. You should have held me. Liam Hendriks gave up 2 runs in that 9th inning. Should he have been out there?
And then you cried more.
And then I cried more. Yes, even more. Should he have been out there? He certainly had the stuff to be a closer in this league that night. It's 95, 96 miles an hour. Maybe we can get some answers from Ted Lasso, of all people, that you've never seen.
Him on the bench wouldn't just be humiliating to him. It could actually affect his livelihood. And you know better than anyone that all this ain't about winning to me. Because that ain't how we measure success, right?
Damn it is!
Hey, who put a firecracker up your butt and lit it?
You did! I'm sick of it. I understood this mission. We were in Kansas, but those were kids, and these are professionals, and winning does matter to them. And it matters to me. And that's okay. Ain't that right, May?
Hey, fucking minute is.
How do you not get it? Losing has repercussions. We lose, we get relegated. We get relegated, this is over, and we will have built nothing. And if you want to pick a player's feelings over a coach's duty to make a point, I don't want to drink with someone that's selfish.
Yeah, that was a clip about whether winning is important or not. Ted Lasso seems to think that it's not.
Are you sure that wasn't a hidden microphone of you talking to Jerry Reinsdorf?
Yes, probably. Have to admit, I was a bit torn. How do we measure success? Game 7 of the World Series? Do I pitch Liam Hendricks when Gregory Santos has a 2.20 ERA? You're damn straight I do. And not because it tugs at my heartstrings, although it does, or because it'd make a good story, although I'm a sucker for a good one. Because it's the correct baseball decision. Liam Hendricks is a fucking bulldog. If the doctors say he's ready and he does, then he plays. At that point, he's the best man for the job. Hendricks, a man who is paid to give a temporary closure the best sports fans can get at this point, gave it in spades on Monday night. Thanks for listening, and that's Fitzgibberish. What are your thoughts, Combs?
No, it's a great moment. It really was. We were on Monday night. We had Michelle's birthday party / Memorial Day barbecue at the house. We had a bunch of people over, and we're all throwing bags, all having a good time. And you text me that Liam Hendricks was about to take the mound, so I did what everybody does in 2023. I whipped out my phone, and I put it on the phone, and all of us in the yard stopped and watched. All of us, by the way, Cubs fans, stopped to watch this because it's a special moment. I mean, look, all joking aside and all of our BS aside, a man just beat cancer and came back. I mean, what? Not even 6 months after being diagnosed with cancer to be on a Major League Baseball mound.
I think he thought he had it for like the last year and a half. That's
right. But that's what I'm saying. Like he came back. He went through the treatments. He did everything he had to do, and he had to come back. Now, regardless of the outcome, it was a great moment, right? And it ended in typical White Sox fashion.
Yeah, they lost.
Yeah.
They did. I mean, it's just hard. It's hard to say. Like, where do the lines blur? Yeah. Is kind of my thing. I mean, we went on air here. We didn't know each other as well when DeMar Hamlin got hurt.
Right.
And we had already mentioned Skip Bayless, who put a tweet out that was basically a tweet that he just wanted to get a lot of people to talk about it. It had nothing to do with what his point was. We can go back to the tweet and read it. It's like, oh, no, it wasn't good. Oh, no, it was good. Oh, it was bad. No, whatever. He just wanted to do that. So I just think there's a blur line, especially in this country, between sports and basically life.
Yeah.
And we don't know where that line is. And I think we talk a lot on the show about where that line is, and we laugh about it. And it is funny, actually. But
yeah, I mean, look, you've got to have fun in life. You've got to enjoy it. You've got to joke about it, because if you took everything so damn seriously, I mean, you'd have a pretty dull life. Jeremiah says first thing he said in a post interview was how he was so mad he didn't pitch well. Guy's such a competitor. He threw that moment to the side because he wants to win so bad. Liam is an animal. I agree. I mean, the guy is the ultimate competitor. Yeah. He really is. And I wish nothing for the best for him. I hope that they trade him at the trade deadline so he can go pitch to a team that matters.
You know? Do you think, would you pitch him 7th game in the World Series?
Oh, yeah.
In that situation?
Yeah, because if he is still on your roster at that point, he's the guy you want pitching the 9th inning.
I don't think it matters unless he's bad.
Yeah.
There were some Twitter folks I was going to put on here for this Fitzgibberish. Yeah. Who are saying he shouldn't have been out there. He wasn't good enough. He was 3 or 4 miles down on his mile per hour, which, you know what? Radar guns aren't that exact.
Yeah.
And he looked like he had good stuff. He was up to 96, 97 on some of his pitches. So
I'm going to use that on my next speeding ticket. You know, radar guns aren't exactly that precise.
No. Yeah, say that. Well, they have to be recalibrated. I don't know. Maybe they don't anymore. Jeremiah says, is this Fitz anonymous?
Fitz anonymous? Because your camera wasn't working for some reason. It's working now. I don't know what happened.
I blame StreamYard.
I blame StreamYard too. Fuck StreamYard.
Anyway, I'm just, in the end, it actually ended up being a good game. It was good to see him out there. Like I don't think I've ever at this point in my life seen something like that.
Yeah, no, it was great. I mean, you've seen other moments, watching, what's his face? God, he plays for the Cubs now.
Oh, Trey Mancini.
Watching Trey Mancini win the World Series last year was pretty cool. Watching him hit a home run his first game back from cancer in an Orioles uniform was a pretty cool moment. You know what I mean? So you do get moments like that from time to time, but I think it reminds you of how much bigger life is than just the game. You know what I mean? Like these guys, sometimes we think of these guys as superhuman. Like they can do things that nobody else can do. And while that's true on the baseball field, off of the baseball field, they're just like you and me, you know?
Yeah,
I mean not exactly like you and me, but
no, not
they're
really.
not this cool.
They're not giants or Supermen. No, but I mean, yeah, I guess you're right. They are. I mean, to have his wife out there and all that. I mean, I just thought it was a pretty cool moment, and it kind of got me thinking, like, what would I do if I was the coach or manager? I mean, if you're in that situation, I mean, what do you do for the player? I mean, I guess if he's passed and he's okay, I pitch him.
Well, it seems like a good transition. And Jeremiah says at least they sent Liam out there with the correct number on his jersey. It's true.
Not a scratched up jersey from Chris Sale.
Let's get into the White Sox because we talk about
do we have to
the 7th game of the World Series and would you pitch Liam Hendricks? Is Liam Hendricks even on the team in October? Because I think the White Sox are about to unload a lot of talent come the trade deadline. I don't think they have any other option. Their other option is to stand pat. That's their other option. Roll with what you got. You don't have pieces to go out and be a buyer to try to fix some of the things that are wrong. You can't go out and get bullpen help. You can't go out and get back into the rotation help because you don't have pieces that you can trade to do that. And the pieces that you do have are a part of your big league club already anyway. So that leads me to believe that they're definitely going to be sellers at the trade deadline. You have to look at it realistically from the front office standpoint. You have to look at it realistically, like we've said a couple times on this show. Even if you do win the division, are you good enough to compete with any of the teams from the AL East? Are you good enough to compete with any teams from the AL West?
Some of the teams.
Are you though?
I'd take a series with the Houston Astros right now. God damn it.
Yeah, and you know what would happen? Liam Hendricks would give up a walk-off home run in the Game 5 to Jose Abreu. Because that's how the White Sox season would go.
You should go to Christ Hospital. You should be in the cancer wards over there.
Did you just wish cancer on me?
I just said you should go over there to cheer him up.
Oh, okay.
What I'm saying.
I don't think that's what you're saying, but all right, let's go.
I would, at this point, yeah, there's a lot of trade pieces here. I mean, I'm kind of out on the White Sox. I mean, and even Tim Anderson, who we're watching bat right now, hasn't had a home run in over a calendar year yet, over 20 and 21. Like, what is going on? Is there something in the water? Like, I just don't get it. How in a collective team gets this bad, a baseball team. I could see a basketball team or a football team get this way. Like, those are sports where effort matters. I'm not saying effort doesn't matter in baseball. It does, but more concentration matters. If you're trying to go overboard, you're not going to be a good baseball player. You're going to be pressing. You have to actually be calm to hit the ball, to even pitch the ball, to do a lot of stuff in baseball. Those kids would take one look at Combs and say, I guess this cancer thing.
I thought Jeremiah and I were friends.
Yes.
Wow, dude.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Yes. That's all I have to say. A little
crazy. All right, Jeremiah Murray, you son of a. Anyway, Ryan talking shit about Jackie Robinson.
Why was I talking shit about Jackie Robinson?
I don't know.
I mean, it probably was. No, I wouldn't talk.
The thing is with this team, who's your rebuild piece? Because all the pieces that you would want to build around Tim Anderson, Luis Robert, Dylan Cease, those are the ones that you're getting all the pieces that you need to rebuild your farm system for.
I think if you're trading, which they are, I think you get rid of probably Dylan Cease and Giolito. Those are the guys that you get rid of. They do have some pitching in their minor leagues that can come up. They can do that. You can maybe get a starter on the side and maybe retool if you want to go with that. Then you still got Luis Robert. You still got Tim Anderson. If you want to give him a club option, you could still retool and make that an effort. And you'd get a lot for Dylan Cease right now. You'd get a whole hell of a lot for him right now.
What would you though? Because he's still got an ERA that's close to 5. And I know he was a Cy Young candidate last year, and he was supposed to do that. But he's been.
He wasn't a Cy Young candidate like Jason Hayward was an MVP candidate, and he was 15 on the list. He was the runner-up for the Cy Young Award.
He should have won it,
and probably should have won it because old man Verlander was up there.
I agree with you. Hold on, man. Pucker your butthole a little bit. Calm down. I agree with you. But are you going to get that haul this year? Because he's not the same pitcher he was last year. He's got an ERA that's close to 5. Lucas Giolito hasn't put together a full season. The guys you're going to get hauls for are Luis Robert, are Tim Anderson.
You have Dylan Cease for another 2 years.
Yes, but you're not going to get... I don't think you're going to get the haul you think you're going to get for him. You're not going to get the same haul you would get. Luis Robert right now would get you probably 4 or 5 prospects. Dylan Cease might get you one decent one and one guy that you've never heard of that's in high A ball.
And the thing is you could get a right-handed outfielder. I think Dylan Cease.
We've got one in Oscar Colas, right?
I think Dylan Cease. Well, he's left-handed, but yeah, I mean, maybe he is the next guy up. And Dylan Cease is more of a unicorn than I would say Luis Robert, I guess. If you think Luis Robert could be an MVP, you probably keep a hold of him.
And Tim Anderson is one of those guys that you want on a team that's making a run for a playoff push. You might want him if you're the St. Louis Cardinals. You might want him if you're the, I don't know, let's say the Anaheim Angels are still pushing at it in the West. They've got a shot to win the West this year.
They actually have a shot to make the playoffs.
So Tim Anderson on the Angels with Mike Trout, with Shohei Ohtani, with Rendon, those are guys.
And a better lineup.
Downey Thomas says they get the most for Cease Combs. I don't think that they do. Not with where his ERA is at right now.
I just think he's more, like I said, I think he's more of a unicorn, especially with the possibility of having that slider back, which was
Luis Robert is a guy who this year
for 3 years.
Luis Robert is a guy who this year, right now, if the White Sox were good, we would be talking about as an MVP candidate.
Yeah.
Dylan Cease right now this year is a guy with an ERA that's close to 5 and who's looked pretty pedestrian this year.
He has. I agree.
I mean, and we both know baseball is a what have you done for me lately sport. And if I'm going into a negotiation and I'm another team, I'm going to tell you, look, I'm not buying Dylan Cease from last year. I'm buying Dylan Cease from this year. I'm buying a guy with a close to 5 ERA. And if I'm telling you that I'm buying a guy with a close to 5 ERA, or I'm buying a guy who could be an MVP candidate, and I'm going into a stretch into the playoffs and wanting to win a World Series, who am I paying more for?
I will admit this. There is an untapped ceiling, I guess, for lack of a better term, for Luis Robert than there is for Cease. Like, you know what you're going to get from Cease, but you know you're going to get a Cy Young candidate if he gets that slider together. With Luis Robert, you know that, hey, the ceiling could still be there. He's still younger than Cease. This being kind of his third season, I mean, the guy's probably played in 180 games. I'd have to look it up, but it's probably around there. That's not a lot of at-bats. He's not at that, that stage where he's at the, 1,500 at-bats where it's like, okay, this is the guy you have. He's not there yet. Like, he still has time to grow. I mean, that 60-game, really that 60-game COVID season, you can say what you want, had kind of hurt the Sox a lot because you have a lot of rookies coming up then. They play 60 games, they're done. And then, they get hurt. Why are they all getting hurt? Well, part of the reason is they never had to prepare for a 160-game season. They come out of the minors, they play a 60-game season, and then they're done for another off season.
So if they do go into rebuild, who's doing the rebuild? The same guys who built this
That's
team?
why I think it's going to be done in the offseason. I just don't see, and I did look up his age finally, and I was right. 87-year-old Reinsdorf. I just don't see him doing another rebuild. I think at worst, it's going to be a retool. And look, they're pretty full there. And at best, he just, plays the season out, sees what happens, and sells the team.
He said they're pretty full there. We now know which side of the stance Ryan Fitzgibbon stands on. Is the glass half empty or half full? We now know where he stands. He says they're pretty full. I can count 3,000 empty seats in this one screenshot.
3,000? You want to look at a Wrigley view? Oh, they sold out again. Half the fans aren't there. Oh, we sold out at Wrigley again.
The difference is the tickets are sold, but most of the fans stay at the bar that's across the street because you actually want to hang out in that neighborhood.
The fans are on. Where are you from, by the way?
The South Side.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Because you're rooting for the North Side. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Why don't you just go live on Wrigleyville?
What do
you
live?
Bring the fam up to Wrigleyville.
Do you live on the South Side of Chicago?
It doesn't. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not going against the White Sox. I grew up on the South Side, and I'm not vehemently going against the neighborhoods of the White Sox. How does that help the White Sox team? How does that help the South Side? Huh?
I'm not against the. I'm not against the White Sox.
I can't even hang out there.
I'm not.
You can't hang out at Cork and Kerry. That's right by the park. You can't hang out at the Bacardi bar. That's right by the park.
You can't before nightfall.
Nightfall. You can't hang out in Bridgeport.
No.
Why?
What do you mean? Because last weekend, 17 people got shot
on 107th
in Chicago.
Yeah, but not in Bridgeport. You can hang out on 107th and Kedzie, though.
I do.
That's
where I live. I have to hang out there. It's where I live. But anyway,
Doubting Thomas, Sox will stand pat.
I don't like that option. I mean, if I'm a Sox fan, I don't like that option.
I don't know if people are going to be desperate enough at the trade deadline. Well, you got to see what they're going to give you at the trade deadline. They're going to give you top echelon prospects.
So you're going to lose Giolito for nothing? He's an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year.
You're
going to give up Yasmani Grandal for nothing?
You think you're going to get a bevy? I'm not talking about those guys. Those guys are gone after this year. I'm not talking about those guys. Yeah. Maybe you trade them and get freaking Jay Buhner or something like that.
But you're not. If you're going into this at the end of the season, right? You're not picking up the option on Liam Hendricks. You're not picking up the option on Tim Anderson because you're not paying that if you're going to start a rebuild. You're not paying for a 30-year-old shortstop that has been injury prone over the last 2 seasons. You're not paying him. You're not exercising that option.
Well, you might exercise that option, 1, and the bleachers are full 2, and 3, they could be at the concessions. The concessions are great there. 3, I mean, yes, you're going to get rid of Giolito and anybody that contract isn't done. Yes, if your season is done, you're obviously going to get rid of those guys. I'm talking about the other guys. I'm talking about the guys that are going to be the stalwarts here. I mean, yeah, Tim Anderson would be I guess that would be kind of weird to get rid of, but I wouldn't be off on that. But guys who have still big contracts like Luis Robert, like Cease, like Moncada, I don't know. I don't know if you get rid of those guys.
Would they be in this position had they hired Ozzie Guillen? Would this be a better ball club with Ozzie Guillen at the helm?
Yes, I think so.
I think so too.
But I don't know how much more. I mean, a couple of games. What does that change? I guess it changes it some. I mean, when you're 6-7 games out, I guess if you're 4 or 5 games out, it does change it some. But I think they're a way, way, way better team. I think they're 2 or 3 games out of first place if Lance Lynn and Dylan Cease are 80 or 90% of the pitchers they were.
I think he's getting more out of the team because Pedro Grifol is a guy who after every game in the media is making excuses. Well, we've got to play better. Well, we did this well. Well, we did this well. And Ozzie Guillen is a no-nonsense type guy. Ozzie Guillen is a get your head out of your ass and let's play some baseball. Let's do what we're capable of doing. And I think that pulls more out of it. And I want to play this clip. This is Ozzie Guillen the other day on Lance Lynn. Let me bring this up here. So Lance Lynn kind of shows up Yohan Moncada after Moncada makes an error. And Ozzie Guillen kind of goes off. So let's play this clip.
Last night for Lance Lynn, he gave up 3 runs in 6 innings, 5 walks, had some bad defense behind him. A few times he lost his cool. The kids needed earmuffs there in Detroit. We were watching this unfold, and he actually had some big strikeouts. No doubt there were bases loaded, nobody out. This error, though, by Moncada
touches balls
was
a lot.
not good for Moncada, and Lynn showed his frustration watching this unfold.
But it was an easy play.
Yeah.
It was an easy play. Just transfer his ball from his glove to his hand.
And no one was at second base.
Try to hurry up. And, God, I didn't even eat breakfast yet, guys. Save it. Save it, Lynn, because when you was pitching like crap in April, nobody ever showed you up. By the way, this is not the first time. You have 12 seasons in the big league. You're the glue at the ball club. You're the captain. The people look up to you. You got to stop doing that. You got to stop doing that. If you want to get to the playoff, stop doing that. By the way, you want to talk to me, I'll be there Tuesday. I don't want to apologize to you like somebody else did.
It fires you up seeing
how... Listen, right now, they're in a good position to take over. Now you see this for the 10, 12-year veteran, the glue of the ball club. I love the way he talk. I love the way he expresses himself. I love the way he go by his business. But when you see this, no matter who you are, what you do, that's a no. Not because Moncada. People say, oh, you just say because Moncada is your boy. Against anybody.
Yeah.
I got a problem with Alex Fernandez. Joey, I stress it right away. You got a problem with me, I have a problem with you. And I'm making one error, one of the best shortstops in the league, because I said, oh, really? You're going to show me out? Next ground ball here, I throw it right to the stands. Now you have men on second base. Say something.
Yeah.
Ozzie Guillen is still, at this point, the best soundbite in baseball, and maybe the best soundbite in sports. Improvising wise, and his second language, and yeah, he's been using English a lot, and whatever. You can say whatever. He still is the best soundbite in sports. He still is. He's still relevant. He still can do it after all these years. Can still improvise. Can still, talk about a team and talk about baseball in a way that's on a level, like on a savant level almost. There was never a time that he was not ready to make a decision with the Sox. Yeah, did I agree with everything he did? But he was always ready. There was always a time where he was ready. He was always 2 steps ahead or even 3 or 4 steps ahead of anybody on the field. And he knew exactly what he wanted to do. He was always sure of what he wanted to do. I would have loved him to be a manager right now. I mean, instead of having a brand new manager. If they brought in a veteran manager over him, I would have thought that. And that's why I didn't like the call. I'm still going to give Pedro some time. He seems like a good guy.
I mean, look, you be a good guy all you want. There's a difference between being a good guy and a guy I want leading my ball club.
True. I mean, you got problems on the north side with that.
We do have problems on the north side for sure. Speaking of the north side, there was a story I wanted to get to. I heard it on the radio this week, and I was like, you know what? That's an interesting take.
There we go. Stories.
Could Theo Epstein save the Chicago White Sox?
God, I thought we were going into news stories.
No, we will. But I want to get to this first because I think this is an interesting thing that I heard it. I don't know what to take of it. My first initial thought is it will never happen because Jerry Reinsdorf will never, ever give Theo what he needs to become a part of the White Sox organization. Theo said he would like to become a part owner of the next team that he takes over. Theo Epstein also, you got to remember this guy. Theo Epstein did not work miracles in Chicago and Boston because he was a genius baseball mind, which he is a great baseball mind, but he had open checkbooks.
Yep.
Wide open checkbooks in Chicago and in Boston, and he
used that on Crawford as their left-handed right fielder in Boston, which was a terrible contract, and then another left-handed batter.
That was another terrible contract.
Hayward. That was another terrible contract, and he had other terrible contracts. Yeah, and what it was a problem there, but also instituted some. You know, he does bring some stability, I think, to a team and to an organization that I don't.
He would come though. He would if Jerry Reinsdorf said, "Hey, look, I want a winner before I die. Let's make this happen." His ego would definitely bring him to another organization that's been failing to turn it around. And I think that he could. I mean, look, right now, if they said Theo Epstein was going to take over as the Bears front office, as the Bulls front office, as the Blackhawks front office, we'd jump for joy. Because he really is a brilliant guy when it comes to
bring the right
business.
People together. Yes. Yeah, and he can do those things, especially in sports. He knows the people. He has the avenues from all the years, Boston to the Cubs, but he's also been doing stuff in between. He had our action overall bit where he took the,
action overall in their desire for faster pace of play.
Yes, when he gave us faster pace of play. Thank God, because we hated baseball before he came along. But I just, even if they wanted him, and they would give him the scouts he would need and the implementations he would want to make on the scouting side and the player development side, I would never give him the money.
The reason why Jerry will hire Jed Hoyer and say he wants second place one more time before he dies. The reason why it would be a bad thing for Jerry Reinsdorf, because he would say, I want one more championship before I die. And the first check that Theo Epstein cuts would kill Jerry Reinsdorf because he would have a heart attack at the amount of money that they just gave Shohei Ohtani. You know what I mean? Like it would never. That's why it would never.
They
work.
Never gave out a contract like that, though. Yeah. He never did in Boston, though. Theo Epstein didn't.
He did in Chicago. What do you mean? He gave Hayward 7 years at 180.
Yeah, but that's not a 400 or.
400. Jason Hayward's not Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, I know, but
Shohei's getting $500 million.
They never gave away that kind of money, and I don't think Jason Hayward was 180.
Doubting Thomas, I would trade Luis Robert for Epstein straight up.
Unbelievable with this guy.
Doubting Thomas, though, I want to put this out there. Doubting Thomas, I don't know if he's joking here. I don't know if he's being sarcastic or if he's a delusional White Sox fan. Because he said anything can happen in the playoffs if they win the division.
The Sox, that is.
Yeah. Is that just delusional Sox fan talk? I mean, because you've got to be real. Like I say it about the Cubs.
Do you have
too.
last year's Dylan Cease?
I don't know.
I mean, does he come around? Because that happens to pitchers sometimes. They're like,
but you can't
I
just
found
have
a
one
slider.
Pitcher. You need Giolito to come around. You need Lance Lynn to eat a couple more salads. You need all sorts of things.
Giolito's been good. Giolito's been good. You only need like 2 pitchers in the postseason, really. I mean, Cleveland had 1 pitcher and almost beat the fucking living shit out of your Cubs. So stop it.
Are you
stop it?
Well, wait though. Are
your
you
favorite
okay
team
going
of all
into
time
a
almost
series?
got beat by 1 pitcher, Corey Kluber.
Are you okay with Dylan Cease right now as he's been pitching? Are you okay with him going into a series against the Angels with against Shohei Ohtani, because that's who he's pitching against in Game 1? Are you good with him going up against Christian Javier in Houston?
The Dylan Cease from last year, yes. If he gets it together and has a slider back, yes. If I have Mike Clevenger backing him up, yes.
Throw in Justin Fields.
This motherfucker. He's got nothing else to do with this.
Yeah, point. I think he's just. Do you want to get into the new segment?
Yes, let's do it.
So we've got a new segment. I came up with an idea. I ran it past Fitz. He liked it, and this is going to be kind of the way we kind of get out of here every week. Is we're going to come up with our favorite news stories of the week.
Yes,
and some of them are going to be funny. Some of them are going to be like, "What the hell."
Don't look at my segment.
I'm going to start
Stop
first,
looking at my
and then you go, because you won't let me see what yours is about.
Don't look at my segment.
And then I've got one that you don't know what's about. But the first one that we do know what is about is we've got 2 actors, well-known actors, by the way, who are having children. Now, normally, this would not be that big of a news.
Actors have children all the time.
However, these actors are Robert De Niro and Al Pacino. Robert De Niro, who is 78 years old, is having a 7th kid. And Al Pacino, who is 82 years old, is having his 4th child with his girlfriend, who is 29 years old, which is younger than every other one of his kids.
I just think they're helping population decrease.
So, 2 questions I have for this one. 1, do you hope that when you're 82, you're getting this type of action? 2,
I don't know.
Would you consciously want to bring a child into the world knowing that there was a good chance he was going to be without his father by age, 8?
Sometimes I wake up at 42 and run down the stairs too fast and think, this is it. Goodbye, sweet world. I had a good time. I mean, how are these kids still pumping? They're laying down. They're the balance beam. They're the balance beam at this point.
Blue Chew,
they are the
Viagra.
Blue Chew, Viagra. They're the balance beam at this point. They are the balance beam. Like I said, like a gymnast vibrator. That's what they are. They are the balance beam. And these guys just jump on.
What does a 29-year-old want with an 82-year-old actor?
Oh, come on.
It's money, right?
Money.
Like if you went up to her, she's 29 years old, and you said, "Hey, look, I've got a buddy of mine. He's 30, really good looking, crazy, has a great job, makes plenty of money." She'd be like, "Nah, not interested." But I got an 82-year-old who's probably not going to be with us very much longer. But he's an actor, he's famous, and he's a bazillionaire.
Hey, fucking minute is.
Is Pacino yelling hoorah at climax?
Hoorah! Probably. I saw an interview with him, and it was kind of sad because he was a little out of it. He's one of my favorite actors. And I love movies, as I think I've told you before.
Yeah.
It is just something. Do you think actors are going to be like this in 40 years? I don't think so.
Stop looking at mine.
I don't think there's going to be an 80-year-old DiCaprio having kids in 40 years. I just don't think that's going to happen. I don't think movies, unfortunately, it's sad for me to say. It breaks my heart to say, but I don't think movies are going to be top of mind at that point.
Ryan talking shit about balance beams.
I'm not. I mean, they're sturdy. I like sturdy things. I'm just saying at 82, like, yeah, graduates from high school at a century mark.
Do you think Pacino's just trying to save face and it's not really his kid?
At this point, you know what? At 100 years old, he could be fine. Look at Virginia McCaskey. I think she's got another 20, 30 years.
Don't make me
She
kill
just
her
turned
again.
100.
At 82 years old, like, seriously.
Could you imagine McCaskey, how many years do you think Virginia McCaskey? No, we're staying right here.
Why do you make me do this to her?
How many years do you think Virginia McCaskey is?
I don't think she has years. I think she has weeks, maybe days, could be hours.
Hours?
It could just be.
She's
100.
How would you have that information?
She's 100.
How would you have that information?
This girl dated Mick Jagger too, says Jeremiah O'Murray. Yes, I know that. And then there was a rumor that she
dated Mick Jagger too.
Yeah. There was also a rumor that she was
that she
there was
likes
another
the smell of bug spray and mothballs.
there was another older actor that she was linked to as well. But they've both said it wasn't true.
What if you're into old men?
Look,
and they make money anyway, and you're super hot. But having kids, you bring a kid into that. Like,
could you imagine going to your high school graduation and being like introducing guys to your 100-year-old dad?
If he's Al Pacino?
If he's 100 years old, he might be trying to sleep with your girlfriend.
By then, there could be no movies. Like, everybody's watching like 3-second clips by then. They're watching 3-second clips of people sneezing.
3
Stop
second
looking at 3 You keep trying to look at my story.
3-second clips. A 3-second clip is what got him into this trouble. Let's go to your news story. What do you got?
All right, we already talked about it.
We did.
Yeah, it's a Taylor Swift concert coming in.
I know you told me it was about Taylor Swift, but you wouldn't tell me
That's
what it
the
was,
story.
'cause I don't know what
That's
it is.
End the show. We're done.
No, I got one more.
Some Taylor Swift fans say, are you ready for this?
Yeah.
They're including adult diapers in their concert outfits so they won't miss a single song or soil themselves. How far would you go not to miss a single song from Taylor Swift's Eras Tour set list? The solution for some Swifties to soak in every second of the show appears to be adult diapers. Some TikTokers have posted videos of themselves either pondering or executing a plan to include adult diapers. This is where we are. I mean, this is basically, at this point, can't we just say we had a good run? I mean, America, we had a good run. We had a good run, a really good run. I mean, I'm talking the most prosperous country, so prosperous that our bums are better than like your rich people in some countries.
Yeah.
Like, we had a good run. But this is it.
This is the end of society?
Well, not society. I mean, come on. Society will live on past America. I'm just saying.
It's the end of America. Okay.
This could be it. Great catch by Luis Robert in left center, by the way.
Do you know?
Look at this catch.
Yeah, and he probably just tore his pec.
Yes,
Do you know?
He's probably hurt for the rest of the season. And Doubting Thomas is loving it.
Do you know how much these tickets are going for?
God, I think you're going to tell me. And now I'm going to even like
the upper deck 400 level. You know how we go to a Bears game and we're looking at, I was telling you, I was looking at them in the preseason were like $250 for the last row in the stadium in the 400 levels.
Do they know that? Wait.
Yes.
I went to a preseason game once and yes, I had a few drinks, but I was yelling at people that were pissed that the Bears were losing. Like, this game doesn't count.
Yes. And
this game doesn't count.
It's $250 to go to Soldier Field for a preseason game. How much do you think? I want you to take a guess. How much do you think it is for a ticket to a Taylor Swift concert in the same section?
All right.
Give me a guess.
I'm going to guess. This is going to be a terrible guess. It's a round number. $500.
At 1,000.
Jesus fuck Christ.
People are paying $1,500 a
payment.
ticket. $1,500 a ticket to sit in a 400 level.
Everybody go home.
At a Taylor Swift concert.
By the time, do you know where you would have to start? And you were talking about getting into Soldier Field. What time you would have to start to get into that concert? What time you would have to start your day to get into that concert? You'd have to leave your house at 2:30.
Today for Soldier Field, they had I would have left at noon. I would have left at noon and I would have tailgated if I was going to the concert. Jeremiah Murray says, I heard a girl say she wouldn't sell her ticket for $20 million. She was dead serious. You could buy more tickets, you dipshit. I agree.
Wow.
But that's what these tickets sold out so fast, people were going nuts for her entire tour. It's not just Chicago.
Can we play
it's her
any
entire
of her
tour.
music?
No, I don't want to.
I mean,
do you really want to?
Not really.
No, I don't want to. And it's $1,500. $1,500, and that's for upper. If you're talking about in the pit, those tickets were going for $7,000 to $8,000 a piece.
Just think about it. Like 15 years ago, like there were Stones tickets, that were upper level, that were like $150, and I was like, oh, how would you ever pay that? That's 10 times that in 10 years. That doesn't seem right.
Yeah. Dude, I saw Metallica.
I'd rather see a small live show of a band that's kind of like on its way up.
I saw Metallica in San Francisco.
They're hungry anyway.
With the orchestra, with the symphony, when they were doing that whole S&M concert.
I like that. I
was in San Francisco and I went and saw that concert. You know how much I paid for my ticket?
What were you doing in San Francisco?
I was in the Marine Corps, so I was stationed in San Diego. We took the drive up. Do you know how much I paid for that ticket?
How much?
$200, and we were in the 10th row from the stage.
Yeah. Jesus, the 80s. Right?
2001, sir. But close.
No, I get you, man. Yeah, I mean,
and that's Metallica.
They shouldn't have gone up this much. Like, it's not gone up to inflation. It's insane. It's basically Ticketmaster owns everything now. You can't get a ticket from anybody else. You can only get it from Ticketmaster. They bought everybody out, and they can make their tickets. They can send their tickets anyway. They can make it easier for scalpers to scalp tickets to where these tickets go way up. They buy 1,000 tickets, and then yeah.
Michelle says, "I know I'm late, but hey, hey."
Oh, was she on the way to the concert?
Yeah, she might have been.
How much did you?
She might have been.
She probably put it on your credit card. I told her just to.
Probably why I couldn't get gas on my way home.
Yeah.
All right, so I got one more story for you.
I can get you on your way home.
I got one more story for you. 76 days and counting underwater. Florida professor breaks world record for science. Joseph DeTuri, a 55-year-old professor at the University of South Florida,
had nothing better to do,
broke the world record for longest time living underwater, and he plans to stay put for an extra 3 weeks. The Aquanaut has been lodging 30 feet below in a lagoon in Key Largo, Florida, for about 77 days as of Tuesday, surpassing the previous record of 73 days set by 2 Tennessee educators in 2014. The curiosity for discovery has led me here, DeTuri wrote on Twitter early Sunday. How is he writing from Twitter 30 feet underwater? I can't get service in my basement.
I can't get service on my driveway.
This guy is on Twitter early Sunday.
How is he charging his phone?
All right. So my goal from day one has been to inspire generations to come, interview scientists who study life under sea, and learn how the human body functions in extreme environments. Despite the world record, DeTuri's personal goal is to stay underwater until day 100, June 9th. as part of research on how the human body responds to living under extreme pressure. Prior to academia, Deturi was in the U.S. Navy for 28 years as a saturation diving officer. In 2012, he pursued a PhD in biomedical engineering at the University of South Florida to learn how to help people who suffer from traumatic brain injuries. Good for you, sir. Deturi's life under sea is relatively normal, except there is very little sunlight. Deturi lives in a 100-square-foot bunker the size of 2 king beds at Jules Undersea Lodge, where the previous world record was set as well. His home includes a sleeping area in the living room with a small kitchen with a coffee machine, microwave, and lots of frozen food. That's why I wanted to go.
He lives better than I did in college.
In many ways, life under the sea has been relatively normal for Deturi. He cooks eggs for breakfast, exercises in the morning, and teaches courses virtually for the University of South Florida. I knew there was a twist, and I knew it was going to get you. His habitat is also only open to the general public for curious visitors to dive down and say hi.
No! Then you're not solitary! You fucking liar!
I'm a creature of the sun, he told the NRP.
I don't give a fuck!
So I wake in the morning, I go for my workout, and I go watch the sunrise. And then on the way home from work, I stop at the bridge and I watch the sunset. So I'm probably going to just chase that sun when I get out of here.
Jeremiah Murray says his body probably looks like Pacino's. Is this?
He's in a hotel,
and that's a good comment by Jeremiah, because is he just trying to get ass here from college kids?
When I first read the story,
who's coming down there? Are they male? Are they female? And if are they male, does he go both ways? Like, what's happening here?
Maybe he's the father of Pacino's kid.
He has people visiting him?
Yeah.
Does he know the definition of solitary?
I'm so when I read this story, I was like, what's this guy in, like a submarine? What is he doing? Is he in like one of those makeshift? And then I read that he was in a hotel room, an underwater hotel room. How does that count as setting the record?
Yeah.
How do Navy people who are in submarines for months at a time, how have they not set this record then?
Yeah, I mean, shouldn't there be stipulations to the record? Like,
yes!
He's like cooking eggs down there.
Yes.
Brandon Jr., liar. Yes.
Jeremiah Murray, he's like the squirrel from SpongeBob.
With the helmet. Junior, rich bastards.
Yes, they are all liars.
Unbelievable.
I like that segment.
That is a good segment.
I do like it.
If you keep
what do you guys think?
That.
You guys like it? You guys, I will every week. I will have a story that has a twist that blows your mind, like this one did.
Unbelievable. You're supposed to be a fucking professor. He's got women coming down there.
For sure. He's probably got a full bar. The guy's just on a fucking 100-day vacation from life.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking that. Like, he gets the university to just pay for him to, masturbate.
He's just watching porn on his phone. We know that. You're both talking shit about scientists.
There we go.
He was talking shit about you earlier, Doubting Thomas.
He's a vaxxer.
Who, Doubting Thomas?
No! Stop this!
All right, guys. We're getting out of here.
Cheers!
It is time. It is Friday night. We need to go drink a little bit more.
Yes, we do.
We'll see you guys next week.
For another Windy City Sports Talk.
Same bat time.
Same bat channel.